One, you want the light, you get the heat. That's the instant analysis on businessman turned Trump acolyte Vivek Ramaswamy. I'm not surprised he did well in terms of most outward optics after the debate. And I'm not surprised he's getting the attention. The media is aware of him, and that means it will be time to go after him. And to this point, he's making it too easy to play gotcha with him. This is not college debate, okay? It's hard to learn at this level. The lessons come painfully. You don't compare black members of Congress to members of the KKK. You get it. You wouldn't. I wouldn't. And he knows better. So why does he do it? Now, that's the intriguing question. And he's going to have to answer for it, especially because he has really changed his tune about Trump and Trumpy things in just the past year. So why? Why such a shift? Because he's smart and he sees opportunity. And history suggests a path, but I would say it doesn't lead to a good place. Ramaswamy is the latest man on the Republican side with brown skin to say things that white extremists like to hear, but can't openly say, but really like to hear from people who are not white. You remember Ben Carson? You remember Herm Cain? Now, Carson was like a real contender for a hot minute, right? Saying all these extraordinary things, people didn't know how to make sense of it, given his genius. But it doesn't play out that well, does it? Why would it be any different this time? Here's one big reason. There are a lot of people out there, maybe you, who don't like this talk about people being like the KKK. And they don't want to hear Ramaswamy saying that. But they also don't want to hear the media chasing after Ramaswamy for doing it when they believe that the media does it with Trump all the time and they're having it both ways. Now, this is a window into what people didn't like about criticism early on and even to this day about the former president. He lies. So do you. Yeah, he's a cheater. Yeah, so do all of you. He doesn't obey the law. Yeah, I don't think you guys do too. I don't think that's the way the game is played. And I think he's just playing the game the way it is. And you guys go after him, but you do the same thing. At least he's honest about being dishonest. A little perverse, but you've heard that, right? You may feel it yourself. Now, I've long said it was a mistake, okay, to cheapen the toxic nature of things like the Holocaust, Nazism, the KKK, Hitler, by using those kinds of poison as cheap points of comparison to things that we don't like or that we find offensive. There's a big difference between being ugly and genocide. And there are a lot of people who are going to give Ramaswamy a pass the same way they do for Trump because they don't like the source of the criticism. Not NBC, not CNN, and this is not me going after the NBC or anchor or the CNN anchor. I know the CNN anchor, Dana Bash, well. She's good. She's good at the job. And that's part of the game, is playing gotcha with politicians because you like it, okay? And there is this pushback, though, that I don't want to hear the media talk about Ramaswamy being wrong to talk junk about the KKK and a black congressman because you do the same thing. You have to see the game to change the game. Now, lastly, imagine if all of this energy that I'm discussing right now, the media attention, the candidates, the talking, the finger pointing, the debate, and the commercials, imagine if they spent it, instead of on that BS, they spent it debating a piece like this. Did you see this piece in The Guardian? So this Taiwan, this chip factory, okay, that they put in the Southwest, President Biden, he should be talking about it in a big way, and he doesn't. I don't get what's going on with the Democrats, this inability to make their own case. I don't get it. But it was a really big deal. We need manufacturing here, especially when it comes to technology, all right? But here's the thing, and that we're not talking about it. We're building this factory, and it turns out everything is screwed up with building the factory because we don't have enough workers with the skills to make the factory. So we have to import workers from Asia. And, how you make it great again, and how do we get in the new jobs of the new economy? This is the issue. So you put this factory, you make that happen, which is awesome, even though you don't really talk about it, but you can't really build it because of the reality of how we haven't been making the jobs and doing the training and crazy college where this doesn't really happen and it's so expensive and we don't invest in the trades and we're not making these workers anymore and creating those opportunities. This is the issue. Yes, there's pushback from the labor side about safety, and there are other things that are slowing up the building. And I don't mean to just dismiss those, but the main one is, okay, how can we not have enough skilled workers to build the factory? The whole point is to get ahead of Asia in making these things, these chips that are so fundamental to all the technological things, even artificial intelligence and all the other things that are going to happen. Why would we not be obsessed with this? Think about it. We're putting the factory here to get ahead of Asia to make the things that Asia's making, but we don't have enough of the workers, so we have to get the workers from Asia to make the factory to allow us to make the things that Asia makes. It's absurd. And anyone who wants to lead us should be making the case. That's what this should be about. I know it's not as sexy. I know it's not as easy to judge as this guy's a bum. She's a liar. But come on, man. Where has that been getting us? Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, and you can find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of NewsNation's fact-driven coverage.